Hi everyone, Namaste. This is Leeann, Carey, and Jules Mitchell from LeeannCareyYoga, and this is our weekly watch for our Facebook viewers. So Angela from Arizona asked for a sequence to aid in fertility, and so what I'm giving you today, Angela, and for all of those of you who are interested, is a sequence of supported yoga. So it's more of restorative yoga, and it's basically some forward bends and inversions. So we're going to start with Supta Baddha Konasana, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this bolster behind Jules, and she's just going to sit right up against it and then come all the way back down on her back. And what you're looking for yourself is that some people don't like this bolster to come right up against the lower back, that it actually creates too much arch in the lumbar spine. If that's the case, come on up, Jules, then you can just take the bolster, slide it back a little bit more so it hits more around the 12th rib or so, and then you'll have a little bit of space here in the lower back. We recommend that you stay in this pose anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes. So then she'll come out of this pose. The next pose that we're going to do is Janu Sirsasana. And for this position, I'm actually going to have Jules sit up on a little blanket, and I'm going to take the bolster, place it in front of her, and also I'm placing this block just at the top edge of it. We're going to make sure that the bolster comes all the way up against the belly because you want that whole area to be supported. And then she can just turn her head in either direction, both sides. Same thing, anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes or 2 to 4 minutes, whatever you're comfortable with. But in all these poses, you really want to relax the weight of the hips down, keep the breath very smooth and steady, and there's really nothing to do here, but just sort of relax and notice what comes from relaxing. That's really it. All these poses are meant to help balance the hormonal system. They're also meant to bring some additional blood circulation around the pelvis and also just a total stress reduction. So it's all about just breathing and feeling when you get into these poses. So come on up. The next pose that we're going to do is Paschimottanasana. So we can move this bolster out of the way, and then she's just going to stretch the legs forward. And you have a couple of options. Some people like to bring the bolster way up top. Some people like to bring it sort of midway. Other people like to bring it a little bit closer. So you just need to kind of figure out who you are in terms of your flexibility, but the head should absolutely be resting, and the head should be resting down in all of these particular positions. When you're on the back, of course, the head will be on the ground, but you'll look to see that the shoulders are on the floor. So it's just the weight of the hips continue to go, the head turns in one direction, maybe for 1.5 minutes or so, and then the head can turn in the opposite direction. And then we'll go ahead and come on up from that. The next one is seated double pigeon pose. So we're going to move the bolster out of the way. And for this position, she comes into the pose and just takes the block or any support that you want. You could even just have a chair out in front of you as well. And then goes and folds the legs in the double pigeon. But again, the head is totally resting. The arms can go wherever you want. They can be here down alongside the floor, or down alongside your hips rather. You can bring your hands back behind you and rest them. You can hold on to one wrist if you like and let the shoulders just really dip forward. The head continues to release. And as you're in this pose a little bit longer, Angela, you'll find that your flexibility, starts to increase, and so perhaps as a result, you'll take the block and bring it a little closer to the floor, okay? And more and more and more, what you want to see is this soft rounding in the upper back, but some length coming from the lower back. All right, so then coming out of that, the next one we'll do is Upavishta Konasana. So Upavishta Konasana, you might need a chair. Jules is pretty flexible, so we're just going to show it here with the support of the bolster. And this particular pose, again, you'll bring the bolster all the way up against the belly, lengthen as much as you can, and then come on down and turn your head in one direction. Once again, the arms come out. I should mention this, that when the arms are out in front of you, do consider having your shoulders right in line with the elbows, because when you can fan out is fine. So fanning out is great because it allows these shoulder blades to protract away from the spine. But when the elbows come up closer, it actually elevates the blades. So we just want this area to be really quiet and really relaxed. And again, she would turn her head in the opposite direction if that were she was staying for a longer period of time. So then coming up, we're going to take Setubandha Sarangasana, which is supported bridge pose. And you can either use a bolster or you can use a block. We're just going to show it with the bolster since we have it. We're placing the blanket down so there's just a little bit of elevation for the shoulders and some release for the neck and head. And then we place the blanket between the feet. She's just going to go ahead and smush it all the way through. And once again, she just kind of nuzzles herself. Are you in the right position, Jules? You want a little high? Okay. So again, right around the lower back and sacrum, and then about the 12th rib, sort of where where the junction is from the lower back to the middle back. And here again, shoulders down on the floor completely, head down, really quiet, really relaxed. This is a wonderful option. Jules, can you lift your hips up for me and keep them up? I just want to show, just in case you decide to go instead to the block variation, and then she can adjust it as it makes it sense for her. But this is, again, is sort of rested at the tailbone and sacrum. Not everybody likes using the block variation, so I just want to show you that there are those options for you. The last pose is Viparita Karani. And so she's just going to come right down on her back. Let me move that out of the way for you. And then I'm going to slide this bolster underneath for her. And then she just brings her hips all the way and then the legs to the wall. Okay, now some people like the variation of where there's a little bit more space so that it creates a little bit more of a back bend. As long as there's no lower back issues in terms of your lower back flattening or sinking, or you have a lot of lower back ache, then I don't think it's problematic to have the bolster come right up against the wall. But again, it just depends on who you are. You'll have to try to figure that out yourself. And then to come out, she just bends the knees, lift the hips, slides the bolster out of the way, and then she can turn away from the bolster, and then when ready, push and come up. So those are, I think that's about 7 different postures, and they're to be practiced in that specific sequence. This is a sequence that's been developed over years of time from BKS Iyengar and Gita Iyengar, and also other Iyengar teachers that have changed it out. But this is the one that I tend to give to people, and it's worked, so good luck. Namaste.